You're listening to Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman on the Land of Israel Network.
Hello and welcome to Inside Israel Today here on the Land of Israel Network on the landofisrael.com, where we are in the midst of a coalition crisis and a corona crisis. I know which one the politicians care about more. They care about themselves. But what do the people care about more? I don't think they could care less about the politicians. We are here Tuesday morning. The politicians were up at the Knesset debating minutia that you couldn't care less about at 1:30 in the morning, the makeup of their special committees. Members of Knesset were protesting, I want to be on the committee. Why am I not on the committee? Literally at 1 a.m. in the middle of a coalition crisis, in the middle of a corona crisis, while the numbers were updated of more than 1,000 Israelis having this terrible, terrible, awful virus. They don't care, ladies and gentlemen. They care about themselves, and it's very, very sad. So as long as we're in the middle of this situation that's just too funny, that you either have to laugh or cry, let's not have a politician on our show today. Let's have someone who cares, like a comedian. So we have invited the world's best Jewish comedian on this earth anyway, and that's Benji Lovitt. Benji, thank you for coming on our show.
Well, that was a funny joke, but thank you, Gil. How are you?
I've been worse, but we're trying to reach new levels of worse here during this virus. How about you?
Well, some people care about coalition, some people care about corona. I care about you, so just know that. That's
really beautiful. One positive, if there's any, that's come out of this virus is that comedy has hit new heights. There's special corona Facebook groups going on right now that are about nothing but comedy. People who have nothing better to do with their lives than stay home and sit in front of their computer and trade jokes and memes all day are really at their best. Do you disagree?
Are you making fun of me? It has been interesting. It's just been a creative boom. Maybe not in terms of the heights of comedy, but the amounts of comedy. There's just an incredible amount of content coming out right now.
Do you have a favorite?
There's a million memes and images going around, and some are predictable. I mean, it's like anything with comedy. You've got good comedians, we've got bad comedians. Some stuff is predictable, and some stuff's really funny. There's a lot of funny stuff out there.
My favorite so far are the things that not anyone can do. I mean, anyone can. A lot of people are pretending to be comedians and putting out memes today. The new Lion King that they put out, cartoon Lion King with Scar being Netanyahu, of course only in Hebrew. And then there's various Frozen new versions that have come out with saying, are you inflicted with corona?
Well, I didn't see that, but I also didn't see the movie, so go figure.
When you have children, you'll understand. How much toilet paper have you stacked up there, Benji?
Well, not much, mostly because I'm in quarantine. Somebody was kind enough to bring some by. I don't know if she was desperate. I mean, it's actually it's got some kind of Turkish packaging on it. I didn't even know what language it was. I had to post it online, and people said it's Turkish, but it still does the job. So I'm trying not to hoard, and I'm doing okay so far.
No one sold you on Amazon a package of 24 toilet paper rolls for $300.
Well, I don't want to order on Amazon. I'm afraid it won't arrive. But you're talking about some of the great things coming out of it. This is not funny. This is serious. But in addition to the comedy, I think this is where you see Israel's kindness. So many people have offered to bring me stuff. People like my new next door neighbors, who I don't even know, have offered to bring me stuff. So that the generosity is incredible. So that's positive.
Yay, positives coming out of the coronavirus. That's wonderful. No handshaking though. How are you getting used to that?
Well, it's that's when we knew this thing was serious. When even Tel Aviv and we're becoming Shomer Nagia. I can't shake hands when I'm in quarantine. I feel very safe in here.
During the quarantine that I had to do after coming back from America, and no symptoms, just came back from America. I've found that the cats have been very good at keeping company. They are the only company I have right now, and they seem to be.
Transportation minister? Which cats? I don't even know if that's currently the transportation minister. Did I get that right?
He was until recently. He's foreign minister now. But nice try. The cats that come to my doorstep.
I was in the States till a week ago, and I came back, and and the new regulation was that everyone had to keep a distance of 2 meters. I'm like, crap, now I got to learn the metric system. I'm an American. The time has come. What can I do?
Picture Benny Gantz from with his hands, his arms spread out from one arm to one hand to one hand. You've got your 2 meters over there.
You gotta have a sense of humor through all this. So fortunately, the fatalities are low. We can keep laughing.
The fatalities are low. We can keep laughing. So I guess they're not telling.
As long as people aren't dying, it's okay to laugh. Don't quote me on that. But I think that's the general rule in comedy.
In Italy, I guess they can't be telling too many jokes right now.
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I don't speak Italian, so I can't tell you how funny they are or not.
So how does a comedian get by? People pay you during this to tell jokes?
No one knows. I mean, literally nobody knows. I guess I don't know about my advantage, but one thing that I have going for me is that I've never been just a comedian. I come from like the background of Jewish education and Israel programming, this and that. So there's always like an element of either education or something more meaningful beneath the comedy. So this week I'm doing my first 3 or 4 programs. I've got a program tonight for a Masa group. It's going to be a little bit of stand-up, some discussion. But the stand-up and I am getting paid for that, but the stand-up is the hardest part. Nobody knows how to do it because it's awful. Like comedy is the worst medium to do online, but the only thing worse than that is not doing it at all. So, we're all figuring it out.
When you do a stand-up routine online on Zoom, you hear the people laughing at least to encourage you?
Very interesting. So this is the thing. It's like the easiest part. That's the thing with being any freelancer. Your craft is the easy part. Now we all have to get into production. I'm in my living room. For those who can see, I've got, I'm setting up a little performance space in my living room with I'm playing with lighting and a tripod. And I did a little pilot earlier this week. If you mute everybody, so there's no background noise, people aren't ruining it, you hear nothing, and it's awful. But if you unmute everybody, then somebody's going to have their baby crying. So there's no good way to do it, but we're figuring it out.
Do you stand up when you do stand-up comedy when you're online from your own house?
These are good questions. So the first time I did something the other day, I was sitting, as I am right now, and reading some jokes off my computer. I've tried standing, but you have to get the framing right, and you have to get close enough where they can hear you. But if you're too close, you can't make gestures and do anything physical. So that's what I'm spending this week doing a bit of, trying to play with it.
Okay, what do you think about the international phenomenon of people singing and performing on porches?
It's pretty cool. I don't know if it works here. I leaned out and started singing, I started doing shacharit at 6 a.m, but my neighbors were not into it. So I don't know if I picked the wrong tunes or what.
Do you play guitar?
I do not.
That is a limitation for a comedian.
This experience with you, Gil, is much like my comedy shows. There's no laughing. I don't know if I'm bombing. I don't know if I'm doing great, but I'm enjoying seeing your face. That's all that matters.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
You're laughing now, even though you can't see them.
Well, we had one night where we were told to go outside and make noise and applaud for the medical healthcare professionals around the world who are doing such a good job, maybe, I don't know, taking care of people. And I went outside and I really heard it. It was really impressive that people cared. That was last Thursday night. On Sunday night, there were messages all over the internet. You got to go outside, same time, 6 p.m., and applaud for Bibi. I went out. Seriously, I'm not making this up. I went outside, total silence. I guess I couldn't hear Petach Tikva or Ofakim from where I am over here outside Jerusalem. But I felt really bad for the guy. But then I asked on Twitter, did anyone hear anyone applauding anywhere? And somebody sent me a video of 2 apartment buildings in Petach Tikva where they blasted music, the pro-Bibi song that they play at Likud rallies. And then sure enough, I got a whole compilation on video, a minute and a half of 10 different places around the country where they did the pro-Bibi thing. And you know who sent me that, Benji?
Bibi.
Yes, exactly.
It's, I'm on my Mirpeset Sharut. I can't even, My window faces nothing. Like I couldn't, if I go outside, I'm going to sing to the cats. I used to live in a studio. I'm just glad I'm in quarantine in a multi-room apartment. Are you in quarantine? You're in quarantine right now.
I am technically in quarantine, which means that while people around the country are suffering from having to take care of their children and work at the same time, I am in a very quiet, empty house, not helping prepare for Passover in any way, and I feel only a little guilty.
Yeah, it's. I swear I'm not joking. I had a dream last night. I think I went down to throw out the trash or something. I brought my phone with me, and then when I got back, there were policemen at my door because they knew I had left. And when I woke up, I knew it was not real. But
I've had that dream too. It's so scary. We've got this thing between us, Benji. I've read all these things about how the Shin Bet is listening to everything we do right now, the security service. They're trying to find people that have evaded their quarantine rules, which are not particularly clear. By throwing out your garbage, did you break the law? Is there jail time for that? I took out the garbage too. Were the cats spies? Are they going to report me? Is that what people do who are on their porches all around me if they're not singing? Are they looking for people who are breaking the law so they can have somebody to report and feel good about themselves?
I just recently watched The Spy on Netflix with Ellie Cohen. Can you imagine telling Ellie Cohen, if he came back today, that the intelligence services now are like tracking down people throwing out the trash in their flip-flops? He would say, what the heck is going on? That's the security threat?
There's a lot of what the heck is going on. Who would have believed that everybody around the world would just stay home and do nothing and wake up really late and binge on the internet all day? Benji, if you become a role model to the entire earth?
Oh God, please don't say that. Yeah, well, it is nice when these things put us all in touch. I've been in touch with a lot of people online, and I got to tell you, from the feedback I'm getting, people are really enjoying COVID-19, even if they didn't see 18 first. You can enjoy it. You don't need to see the originals. This one stands on its own, I feel like.
So, Benji, what advice would you give to people suffering around the world who need some hope?
So I would say you got to stay positive. We're going to get through this. Here's a tip I have. We got to continue to be human beings and be social creatures during this time. So before I was in quarantine, I found a great way to make new friends. Gil, all you got to be, walk into a public bathroom, walk up to someone washing their hands, and start counting to 20 in their ear. They will love it. They will hey, buddy, that was only 17. Start over from the beginning. That's number one. Number two is, as always, come visit Israel. It's safe. It's great. And by the way, if you walk through customs with a suitcase of iPads and iPhones, start coughing. They will not stop you. Easiest thing you'll ever do. People will love you. That is my advice for you, Gil Hoffman.
That is wonderful advice, not only to me, but to the entire world. And my advice to the world is, since the apocalypse is approaching, we don't have much time left, move to Israel, come here, marry Benji Lovitt. There's nobody better.
All of you marry Benji.
There's nobody better to share the last moments before we all shrivel up and die.
10 people at the wedding.
That we'll be watching the wedding on Zoom, Benji.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Gil.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us, and thank you, Benji, for being with us inside Israel today. After the break, we'll be talking about politics, which, as we said, is very not funny.
And remember, this is Israel Today, Gil, because there's going to be no tomorrow. It's Israel Today.
No inside tomorrow. That's true. Thank you.
They're empty illusions. And the more idols we have and the greater faith we place in them, the more painful all of this will be.
We are living in unprecedented times. What the future holds is unknown.
I got 6 kids that I gotta feed, dress, brush their teeth, get their bags packed. We gotta get them in the car. And now in the morning we wake up and we're not going anywhere.
Why is this happening? Join Ari Abramowitz and Jeremy Gimpel on Israel Inspired as they discuss their different views on the current world situation and how to navigate these turbulent waters.
maybe you're right, maybe you're not. You haven't received a prophecy of what will be. Maybe they should just prepare themselves for the worst and hope for the best. I have messages that I think are more in tune with what people can do now.
That's Israel Inspired with Ari and Jeremy on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
And we're back here on Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on the landofisrael.com, where we got to deal with some comedy and some official funniness in the first half of our show, and yet unfortunately what's going on in politics is a lot less funny. I do still have the right to enter the Knesset when I will no longer be in quarantine, and I'm looking forward to that. But meanwhile, it's a good thing that everything that goes on in the Knesset nowadays, what's left of it anyway, is broadcast on channel 99 on regular Israeli cable, as well as on our really bloated internet that's slowing all around Israel right now. And so I've been able to follow what's been going on. And yes, those Knesset meetings did happen until 1:30 in the morning. And there was Amir Peretz complaining to Gabi Ashkenazi and Benny Gantz, why did you not put me on your committee? I'm a former Minister of Defense. Special committee on intelligence that's inside the Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee. And they had to debate whether to let Amir in their group or after 1 o'clock in the morning. And that just made me think, you really, really don't get it. You really, really don't realize how pathetic you all look right now. We have this terrible pandemic all around the world. Israel is suffering from it as much as everybody else is, except for the outliers there in China and Italy and Spain and Iran. Why don't you stop helping yourself for a little bit? Why don't you start doing things that are unquestionably only for the people? And that not realizing that is what you have to do is something that really goes across the board politically right now. That means blue and white not joining a government led by Netanyahu. I realize they do technically have a majority, 61 to 58 or 9, depending on how you count it. But Netanyahu is slightly more experienced than anybody else right now. Maybe let him continue to run this crisis and join him and get some experience a little bit. Same thing goes the other way. You can say to the people in Likud, well, Benny Gantz got the chance to form a government. Just join it. Make him be the prime minister. Let Likud continue to handle the things that are most important to Likud, and let Netanyahu be the vice prime minister in charge of the coronavirus and continue to help save people. And Gantz, chances are, would agree to that. Neither of those things are happening. We're not seeing any compromises happening, and in fact, both sides continue to do things that will upset the other side so much that they might not be able to recover from this and form the unity government that not only is what the people want, but is the only potential government. The minority government, there's not a majority for on either side. That leaves a unity government. The fact that they are not forming one right now, when it's the only thing they can do, is absurd. Both sides right now, they are threatening a fourth election that is literally impossible to carry out when a third of the country is quarantined. It can't be done. They last time, what did they have? Last time they had a few hundred people in quarantine who went out and had special tents that were set up that enabled them to vote. Well, that's nice and everything. How about this time have a few hundred people who are not voting in special tents? whose votes are not counted by people wearing hazmat suits, and the other 6 million people in the country, they will all be counted. I have to vote one by one. We'll do the vote over 3 years. Everyone will get their time, every keeping their social distancing, and then maybe we'll have a new prime minister after that. No, it can't be done. Politicians across the political spectrum. There is no fourth election. Stop talking about it. But they talk about it every day. Of course, they talk about it their way. They don't say, I will go to a fourth election, because if they do that, people will hate them. No, they say the other guy, what they're doing, that's going to bring about a fourth election. It's him. It's not me. And they've been saying that over and over and over again. Well, and they've been threatening like a child. If you do A, B, and C, then that means you're going to initiate a fourth election, and everyone will blame you for it. Wait a second. You just said if I do this, then that'll be a fourth election. But what you're doing is you're saying you will bring about the fourth election if I do that. And anyway, I think the opposite. I think that if you do D, E, and F, then you're going to be the one causing a fourth election, and everyone will blame you for that. Grow up. Grow up, politicians across the political spectrum. No one cares anymore. No one cares anymore if we have this committee or that committee. And don't listen to the fringes. There are fringes on both sides who are saying don't compromise. We're saying stand up for your principles. Stand up for your promises to the voters. No! Don't listen to those people. We don't care what you promised anymore. The election that happened, the third election, way back when, on the 2nd of March, I realized that was still technically this same month that we're in right now, but that was in a different era. That was in the pre-corona world that no longer exists, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they had a little bit of corona. They had it in China. They didn't have it here yet in a serious kind of way. That was a different planet that we are no longer on. To use the connotation that Americans will understand more than anyone, that is so September 10th. Way back when, September 10th, 2001, people had no idea how dangerous and how serious the world was. And when people did anything afterward that was like totally frivolous or self-centered or whatever, people would say to them, how can you act like that? That is so September 10th. Our politicians are caught in September 10th mode right now. And they've really got to snap out of it. So now, looking forward politically, well, the Knesset is going to be meeting today. Maybe they'll approve their new Knesset Corona Committee, and we'll try to help people. Maybe they won't let it form because it was formed in a way that wasn't so democratic. I don't know. Or maybe it was democratic, depending on what side of the political map you're on. Everybody is appropriating democracy to themselves and only themselves right now. The Supreme Court has given Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein until tomorrow, until Wednesday, to initiate a vote replacing himself. And he has said no. And I understand why he said no, because if he gets replaced, then it'll be harder technically to form a unity government, because the prime minister and the Knesset speaker tend to always be from the same party. There have been a couple other cases, though, and so it can be different, but it would be much harder. So he is saying that he is being magnanimous by not offering to leave his job as Knesset speaker, and he is really doing it for the sake of unity in the country, to facilitate there being a unity government. But I can also understand the other side that says, leave the job. There's a majority against you right now. You are being undemocratic. So that's all going to hit the fan, I guess the proverbial fan, on Wednesday. And then maybe will they start compromising? I hope so. We will see. That is what's happening inside Israel today, right now. And I want to end with saying what's going on inside the land of Israel today. I will unfortunately be discontinuing this show for a little bit, and so I appreciate the people, Ari and Jeremy, who run the Land of Israel Network and who are out there on a mountaintop serving the Jewish people. And I appreciate the other show hosts, and I appreciate all of you listeners who have been here with me week in, week out on the Land of Israel Network, and before that on the Voice of Israel every day there, listening, hearing what's going on inside Israel today. We will be back someday soon. Thank you from here, just outside Jerusalem, and praying for better days. Bye-bye. While we're facing a threat of an endemic disease, we conducted a whole election. Nothing can stop our Jewish democratic state. We want to have a say in the future of the Jewish people that is being written as we speak. We are in the glory days of the Jewish people, and even more glorious days are yet to come because of the strength that the Jewish people showed in this election.
Listen to Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman, political correspondent for the Jerusalem Post, every week on thelandofisrael.com.
Inside Israel Today normally deals with what's going on behind the scenes in Israeli politics. This week's show deals with the Lion King.
Simba, you must remember who you are.
And its connections to Zionism.
The one true king.
Why is The Lion King a Zionist movie? Come on, find out on Inside Israel Today, on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com.
I call for a vote. I'm not voting for her.
Only an idiot would vote for me.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Who cares about this stupid election?
In this Meshuggah world, you should know who to vote for.
What's going on behind the scenes as Israelis prepare to go to the polls? Tune in to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com for all the action as it happens.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Is Star Wars Jewish?
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic.
Tune in to Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman to find out the answer as he discusses the release of Star Wars, Rise of the Skywalker, and its connection to Torah.
A Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense.
Plus, an interview with Commanding Officer Adam Nahum of the 501st Stormtrooper Israel Outpost Unit.
At the Shabbos table, you do a little Devar Torah. It's nice sometimes to throw out an image here and there because it captures people's imagination, sometimes better something they can relate to.
That's Inside Israel Today, every Tuesday on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
If you want to improve relations between Israel and American Jews, one of the things that you should do is encourage people to listen to the Land of Israel Network. Listen to Eve Harrow, and listen to Yishai Fleischer, and listen to Ari and Jeremy, and Shlomo Katz, and listen to Mike Foyer, and listen to Josh Haston, because the Land of Israel Network has a mission, and that's to spread love between Israel and American Jews. There's so much to love about Israel. There's so much to love about Israelis. And I think the Land of Israel Network is part of the solution. You are all part of the solution.
You're listening to the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com, broadcasting the truth and beauty of Israel to the world.
Prime Minister Netanyahu,
Benny Gantz, Avigdor Lieberman,
Yair Lapid,
Bezalel Smotrich,
Moshe Feiglin. What's going on behind the scenes as Israelis prepare to go to the polls on September 17th? Tune in to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com for all the action as it happens. Jonathan Pollard served in an American prison for 30 years. In 2015, he got out of jail, but is he really free? Listen to Inside Israel Today to find out what is going on with Jonathan Pollard right now and his quest to come to Israel and to take care of his wife Esther, who is currently very, very sick.
That's Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman, the Jerusalem Post's chief political correspondent, on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
Hello, I'm Gil Hoffman, host of Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com. Israelis are voting for the third time in under a year, and they're celebrating Hanukkah, where there was just enough oil that was supposed to last one day that lasted 8. Do Israelis have enough energy to last for 8 elections? Find out by listening to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com.
For her to say that because of her discomfort with the Prime Minister, that she is not even going to come to Israel to receive this prize.
Tune in to an exclusive interview with Michael Medved, one of the most successful Jewish talk show hosts of America, has to say about Natalie Portman and the scandal about her refusing to accept a $2 million prize in Israel.
I think because she is Israeli originally, and I know my family in Israel always looked at Natalie Portman. Yes, she is on the left and she is an artiste, but she's one of ours.
That's Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com.
As long as I'm Prime Minister, Iran will not have nuclear weapons.
With the Israeli election days away, tune in for an interview with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
In the last 10 years, we've turned Israel into a world power. We're ranked as the 8th power in the world.
Gil Hoffman of Inside Israel Today interviews the Prime Minister.
I don't think any country in the world is better organized to address this challenge than Israel.
Hear the full show on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
This week on Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com, Gil Hoffman will speak about whether Netanyahu has entered a political minefield in the repeat election. And he will interview Einad Wilf, former member of Knesset from the Labour Party, about whether the Labour Party is doomed to die and whether there will be a three-peat election. Listen to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com. Hello, I'm Gil Hoffman, host of Inside Israel Today, and I'm honored to be taking part in the Shavuot of a Lifetime at the Mount Zion Hotel. Come join yours truly and other show hosts here, such as Ari Abramowitz, Jeremy Gimpel, Eve Harrow, Yishai Fleischer, talking about Torah and inspiration. What will I be talking about? You'll just have to come out to the Mount Zion Hotel.
Shavuot of a Lifetime, Thursday through Monday, June 6th through 10th, 2019. For more information, visit thelandofisrael.travel. That's thelandofisrael.travel.
It's much more real than any reality show. It's much more dramatic than any drama. It's much more funny than any comedy. It's like a game show, but it's no game. It's our lives.
Listen to Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman, political correspondent for the Jerusalem Post, every week on thelandofisrael.com.
This week on Inside Israel Today, we have Saul Singer, the author of Startup Nation, the book that tells people around the world why Israel is such a big success.
Many countries want to work with Israel, and it's a positive story. It's Israel making a difference in the world.
That's Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com.
Israel was founded despite the Holocaust, not because of the Holocaust.
This week on Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman, an interview with Naftali Bennett, head of the Bayit Yehudi Party and Minister of Education.
It's not about the safe haven. It's about coming home.
Tune in to hear one of the most powerful people in the Israeli Knesset. That's Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
This is Naftali Bennett, and you're on the Land of Israel Network.
Tune in for an exclusive interview with Yitzhak Pindris, former mayor of Beitar Illit and former deputy mayor of Jerusalem, now a candidate for Knesset with United Torah Judaism.
The Green Line was there 50 years ago. The Green Line is maybe a nice piece of paper in the UN, but it doesn't really mean anything for a regular Israeli. Today, it's about 15% of the Israeli Jewish population, at least, live over the Green Line.
For the full interview, listen to Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. This week on Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman, an exclusive interview with former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Michael Oren, on the rash of anti-Semitic attacks in America.
Those attacks on Jews in New York is not isolated incidents, but part of a national scourge that has to be confronted, and not just by putting policemen in front of synagogues.
For the full interview, check out Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman every Tuesday on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
This week on Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com, we will get first-hand testimony from the successful Jerusalem Post Conference in New York from behind the scenes at that event.
He's doing all of it for the sake of the Jewish people, with his kippah on his head to show the Jewish people will survive.
Listen to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com.
We are faced with a huge challenge here. I'm worried about the rift and the split.
This is Gil Hoffman, host of Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com. I interviewed the next chairman of the Jewish Agency and current opposition leader of Israel, Isaac Herzog.
But I preferred doing it because of the enormous challenges facing the Jewish people and my feeling that I have a unique opportunity to leave my mark when it comes to the well-being of the Jewish people.
Tune in to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com to hear this interview and many exciting interviews.
In the year 2048, Israel will have 20 million citizens. 20 million in this small country, and 15 million of them will be Jewish, because in Israel you remain Jewish.
This is Gil Hoffman, host of Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network. Listen to my interview with storied Israeli general turned Likud Knesset candidate Uzi Dayan on my show, Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com.
Have you ever wondered what the Israeli Arab political parties really think?
We can't be part of the occupation our people. We can't be part of the mission of Palestinians' house in Israel, inside Israel. We can't be part in killing our nation.
Tune in for an exclusive interview with Matanas Shahadneh, the new leader of the Balad Party. For the full interview, check out Inside Israel Today with Gil Hoffman on the Land of Israel Network